Oh, okay, I should probably stop doing that. It's probably getting old. Hey, look at that. I stopped myself dead in my tracks. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yes, it is I once again with another Let's Play episode. And for this episode, I will be playing as Beerus, the God of Destruction of Universe 7. Super Saiyan Goku Black, my favorite character from Super. And Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. Wow, such an uncanny team, right? Sure, let's just go with that. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just spoil it right now. This might be the best video. As far as gameplay goes, this might be the best video that I've done in terms of rank, or final rank and whatnot. So, and that says a lot because, like with the other characters, I've probably practiced like 5 minutes total with Beerus and Goku Black. So, hopefully I don't blow you guys away too much. But just gonna go ahead and let you go now. I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know now that this is all going diagonally upwards from here on. So if you've noticed, like I said, I mentioned this in every video that I always have a variety of topics to discuss with these commentaries. And I do feel like these Let's Plays are giving me an outlet to just open up about things that I usually don't. So, I think for today, I'm going to talk about the movie theater experience. Or really just cinema in general. Because the experience of cinema has been something that I've lived with since I was 6 years old. Like, no bullshit. The very first movie that I saw in theaters was 8 Mile. I was 6 years old when I watched 8 Mile in theaters. I had a weird obsession with Eminem growing up. So, if you know me personally, this shouldn't come as a surprise, but that's probably as honest as I can get when it comes to my background growing up. So, when you're younger, you think of the movie theater experience as one of two things: a great experience, time to relax and just watch some gold just appear on the screen, or you think of it as one of those dreadful moments where your parents drag you along because they want to go out and they don't want to leave you by yourself at their house, so they're just like, fine, I'm gonna be complaining the whole time. Did I really just fucking quote Bob's Burger? Ugh. Anyway, for me, it was a mix of the two, because, there were some movies that I was so hyped to see growing up. Even to this day, like, when I see trailers for movies that I want to see, I'm like, I'm gonna go fucking see that. But I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. My parents did not have the best taste in movies when I was growing up. Like, maybe once every 3 or 4 blue moons did we actually go watch something that was good. Like, almost everything that we went to go see was rubbish. I may not have thought that at the time, but, as I get older and I look back on these films, I think, ugh, man, these movies fucking sucked. Especially if they had Adam Sandler in them. That's like a family favorite of ours. Like, pretty much like a lot of old Adam Sandler films. Because like we have so many of them on VHS. But like I said, looking back, a lot of those movies were fucking terrible. And my thing with movies is that if I don't remember them, it's probably because they sucked. Like, that's my motto for films. Is that I do not remember terrible movies unless they were so terrible that I actually enjoyed them, or so terrible that I'm still venting about them. A lot of people always be like, yeah, I don't trust critics, I'm gonna go ahead and form my own opinion. That's cool. I totally get that. But here's the thing for me. When a movie is about to come out, and I go look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, At least I I always refer to Rotten Tomatoes because that's that's a bunch of reviewers coming together to review a movie. Rotten Tomatoes isn't run by anyone. Rotten Tomatoes isn't like a sole company like, you know, the New York Times, the New Yorker. I want to assume IMDb as well. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But just looking at, you know, the tomato meter, like if it's anything below 50, it's likely that I'm not going to check it out. Because I'm not saying this because I trust critics. I'm saying this because every time I've gone to see a movie that was below 50% on the tomato meter, I was severely disappointed. I always become dissatisfied, underwhelmed, disappointed. Any word you can find that has a negative connotation to a cinema experience, that's what I'm describing this as. And, you know, like the only exception to movies below 50% are probably comic book movies. Because, obviously, that's the fucking thing now. And that's how I felt with Venom in 2018. Like, my partner at the time and I went to go see Venom. Like, you know, in the theater watching this, they were like, oh my god, this is so fucking crazy. This is so fucking cool. But then after the movie, you know, we walk out. They're like, what'd you think? What'd you think? And I'm like, I'm going to wait until we get in the car to talk about this. Because I'm not about to get my ass beat right now by a bunch of comic book nerds, okay? So we get in. I'm like, that movie was fucking shit. Ugh! Why did I sit through that? And then I remembered, oh yeah. My whole life is shit. That's why. But, you know, you look at movies like these, and you think, how was it that they spent so much fucking money on this? And how was it that they make, like, almost 8 times the budget at, like, the fucking box office? How the fuck is that possible? Like, how is it that such a terrible movie like Venom can have... I wouldn't really call it expensive in regards to comic book movies, because I've seen more movies that have, like, much more expensive budgets. But as far as Venom goes, that's actually not bad of a budget for a comic book movie. And somehow it still managed to make, like, over 8 times its budget at the box office. I'm like, bitch, how? Y'all have taste? Y'all have taste? Because I don't think y'all do. So I'm just very conflicted when it comes to the cinema experience. Like, that's an important experience for me. Because as a film major, you know, I value that so much. There's never an instance where I don't, you know, look at a good movie and go, oh, I'll just wait till it comes on Netflix. And that's another thing. Like, people who just look at a movie trailer, regardless if the movie looks good or not, and their first instinct is, I'll just wait till it comes to Netflix. That's such a shitty mentality. I'm so fucking sorry, but, like, I understand if you have a job. I understand if you don't have time on your hands. But if that is your very first instinct, your very first response, you do not deserve a seat on the board of movie critics, professional or social, whatever stance that you want to look at that from, whatever stance you want to look at that from. I'm sorry, but, like, if you only care about a movie if it comes to a streaming service, that's shitty. Because a lot of the movies that you watch, a lot of the movies that you claim to value so much, depend on a good box office run. And the fact that you don't care about the box office because, oh, I don't want to spend a movie ticket and some concessions. That's shitty. Like, nobody says you need to fucking buy concessions for a movie, even though it's complimentary. And I never not get popcorn at a movie theater. I never not get popcorn when I go to the movies. still, that's so shitty. Like, I've met tons of people who just don't have the time because of work, because of school, because of other obligations on their hands, and I absolutely understand that. But not once have any of them ever mentioned, I'll wait till it comes to a streaming service. Because that's fucking trash. That's such a terrible way to look at movies. Holy shit. Oh my god. Like, I just can't, man. I can't deal with people that just think of a movie theater experience as lesser than other experiences, because think about it this way. How do you expect to sell lemonade if everybody else is buying lemonade from the store? Like, you're on the street. You're on the street of your neighborhood selling lemonade, and everybody else is buying lemonade from the store. This might not be the perfect analogy, but that's the best one I can come up with when it comes to the whole movie theater experience versus streaming service experience. Like, some movies only come to streaming services, and I understand that. And then there's some movies that, you know, get released in select cinemas that go straight to a streaming service, and that's fine. That's totally cool. I get that. Like, I like movies that release in theaters that are streaming service exclusives. I fuck with all that, okay? I just can't deal with people that only value a streaming service experience. Cause, like, are you even gonna remember to watch this shit even if it does hit the service? Fuck no. You're just saying that because you don't want to fucking see it. Because you don't give a fuck, but you're gonna put your pathetic opinion out there anyway. Like, what use is that? It's no use. I'll go ahead and tell you now. Anyway, another thing I want to touch on when it comes to the cinema experience is that, you know, the further I got into my film courses in college, the more I realized how valuable the experience was. And even though the majority of the time I went to go see, like, Marvel movies, whether it's from Disney or Fox or DC films, just because I was curious, my curiosity fucking killed me when Batman vs. Superman came out. Forgive me. I would eventually expand my taste, because I realized there was more to the cinema experience than just watching Iron Man put on a fucking suit. Like that whole 5-minute sequence. I realized how valuable that was. I don't know. It's just, you know, when you're younger, that's your first instinct. But then as you get older, you know, you don't even have to be a film major to understand how important the cinema experience is. Because, you know, you only get a once-in-a-lifetime chance when a movie comes out. And if it makes good enough at the box office, it might have an anniversary release and so forth. But like I said, that's not always guaranteed, because not many movies reach that level of fame. Like Terminator 2 released on its 20th anniversary at one point. Like, how often do you think that happens? Not very often. Oh man. But, you know, like I said, as the years went on, I would find myself watching more movies at the cinema. And every time, I fucking loved it. Like, in the past 2 years, I can definitely say that films like A Quiet Place, Creed, Queen and Slim, what else came out? Knives Out, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. There's so many movies that have come out that, you know, aren't big franchise titles that I absolutely adored. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there now. Probably my most favorite film in the last 2 years to come out is probably Queen and Slim. And I say this because, number one, the cinematography is absolutely fucking beautiful. The soundtrack was so good. The story was so good. Like, Lena Waithe wrote such a good screenplay. I don't remember who directed it, but they did such a good fucking job at it too. But like everything about this movie caught my attention so much because I felt like I was living the lives of the main characters. I felt like I was with them because of how the film had progressed. Like everything was just I was breathtaking. Holy shit. Like I I crave so badly that I could just relive that theater experience again. Specifically that movie because it was so fucking good. Like it's so rare that you find a movie. It doesn't even have to be perfect on the tomato meter. It doesn't have to be perfect in any circumstances. But you know that's one of those films that just caught my attention, took my breath away, and I just absolutely adored it. And that's another thing. I'm so ready for this pandemic to be over because I'm so desperate to have the cinema experience once again. I'm looking forward to that day. But hey, like I said, you know, this is my very first perfect ranking arcade ladder. You'll see the score in a bit. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe because I'm doing more of these. Goodbye.